going to go up. Can't do much right now. Russia's responsible.
The only viable path to energy independence for the American economy is to reduce the energy intensity of our economy overall, and ultimately to reduce it to zero and get ourselves to a position where we're no longer reliant on fossil fuels. That's a long-term project, but what we're seeing today and the geopolitics and the economic pain should only reinforce our efforts to try to move there more quickly.
The real answer is let's increase production here and understand we're in this terrible position because of stupid policy decisions from the Biden administration. You all know this, the canceling the Keystone Pipeline, not allowing drilling on federal lands, not keeping ANWR open. Those are the things that need to happen. So we've got to focus on that side of the equation.
We have more oil than anybody, okay? And it's an incredible thing that it's happened over the last few years, a lot of great things, and you're paying, what, $2 a gallon for your gasoline? That's okay. You know what that's like? That's like a tax cut. That's bigger than a tax cut. If Biden got in, you'd be paying $7, $8, $9. Didn't they say, get rid of your car?
Gas prices likely increase. What is the thinking within your caucus about how to deal with that issue specifically? And what has been the reaction of your colleagues to, things like diplomatic outreach to countries like Venezuela and Saudi Arabia in terms of like increasing the global oil supply?
Yeah, that issue hasn't come up, but I think increasing the global oil supply at the moment, to the extent that there are implications, particularly for Europe, which is more heavily reliant, is an important discussion.
This is the same president who tweeted multiple times that President Obama was to blame for rising gas prices. So what is he going to do now that he's in charge? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. At least so far. Oh, here, just in case you needed some proof. Final price of gas under Obama, $2.36. Current price for gas under Trump, $2.92. Mr. President, you can't blame this on President Obama as you try to blame everything on him. If the president wants to take action, he can, and in two ways. One, OPEC. He's very, very tight with the Crown Prince. He's very, very tight with the head of UAE. Very, very tight, supposedly, with Putin. Well, why doesn't he use that for the American people instead of some of the things he's pressuring them with?
Donald Trump loves having names on things. Towers, steak, universities. Now his name is associated with the highest gas prices for American families that we have seen in years. President Trump's incoherent foreign policy has been exacerbating the geopolitical risk premium on oil prices and driving them up. President Trump likes to tout American energy dominance, but thanks to his policies, it is high gasoline prices that are dominating Americans' pocketbooks. We are now exporting more than 2.5 million barrels of oil a day of U.S. crude. And we are sending our oil overseas to benefit foreign nations like China, which is getting a quarter of the United States oil exports. You don't need to be Robert Mueller to know that collusion is going on between Russia and OPEC to boost prices, and Donald Trump is doing nothing about it.
What's going on with Venezuela?
Well, what I said is what I believe. Look, I understand the economic consequences that the president is trying to avoid for the American people. I share that concern. But there's places like Mexico, the United Arab Emirates, Canada, as well as domestic production that has already been licensed that should be able to offshoot the consequences of the loss of Russian oil. You don't have to go to a dictator that ultimately has created enormous consequences for his people.
And the Trump's administration's chaotic approach to foreign policy not only serve to increase instability and uncertainty around the world, and certainly as a result of that, turn the driving of oil prices up a reality. While the president claims to have great relationships with the leaders of some of the world's largest oil-producing countries in the Gulf, he has done nothing to pressure those countries to lift their cap on output.
Case in point, the soaring gas prices in this country. These higher oil prices are translating directly to soaring gas prices, something we know disproportionately hurts middle and lower income people, since a larger chunk of their disposable income goes for gasoline. The 2018 consumption boost from tax cuts, and is particularly large on the lower end of the income spectrum. Let me say that again. The gas prices will roughly cancel out the 2018 consumption boost from tax cuts. That's right. Whatever meager benefit working families might have seen from Trump's tax scam for the rich is being wiped out by the gas prices that President Trump is responsible for. It's time for this president to stand up to OPEC on behalf of the forgotten man and woman he promised to remember. He's pallying around with the Saudis and UAE and all these other oil-rich countries. Why doesn't he ask them to lower their prices so that the prices at the pump can be lower? We haven't heard a peep from him on this subject. Do the consumers see any of those breaks at the pumps? Nada, none, zero. In fact, prices go up. Plastered to the top of President Trump's Twitter account to symbolize the empty rhetoric when it comes to actually making things better for the middle class.